I'm Mandy.
And I'm Jessica.
And this is The Coop.
This is Coop Faves, where we share our favorite homeschooling resources and adventures.
I'm Mandy.
I'm Jessica.
And this is
Coop Faves.
Today is Universal Yums.
Yes.
The deliciousness of a country all in a box. This monthly subscription box brings so much enriched learning and joy to our family, and maybe a must for anyone wanting to teach cultural appreciation.
Nice.
Or even geography. So you've heard me talk a lot about Universal Yums.
Lot.
Yeah. What do I say about it normally?
Well, you talk about all of the things that you do to enhance the box because you love what the box comes with and you love the opportunity it brings.
Yeah.
So the box in and of itself is great, but the idea I get from you is that you love what it can launch you into.
Yeah, that's right.
that's
That's
what I
exactly. I love it. So I'll tell you first what Universal Yums is,
Okay.
and then how I use it. And I've had a number of people ask me how I enhance it. So I love that you pointed that out. Okay, so what is it? It's a box full of savories and sweets from another country. It's 12 to 6 page information booklet about the country and its major sites of interest, nutritional information, a music playlist, trivia, games, and cultural traditions.
Nice.
So I have one here, and this is old, so I think they've actually built it up better. But you can see the pictures of special places. You can see local language on here, upcoming events that's happening in the country. And because they do time it with the season, then they have the trivia page you can see here. And that's, the kids love doing that. And then for each of the food items, they give a little history of why it's included and what it represents. But it is from there, and a lot of times it's in their language. It's probably half the time in their language, half of the time in English. And then they might have, like in Indonesia, for example, they have volcanoes, destructive and creative. And then they talk about how volcanoes are forming the islands there.
Yeah.
And then they have a recipe. So in this one, it's Indonesian fried rice. And they show a picture. And then they have the trivia answer key with more information. And then also that comes in it is a card with the country's flag. And on the back is a chart where you can rate the yums,
Nice.
which I'll get back to in just a second. So that is the 12 to 16 page information booklet. They are much more thorough now than what I just showed. Their monthly delivery is free shipping in the U.S.
Nice.
So you're literally only paying for the box, or it's included. There's 3 levels of box size, 5 to 7 snacks, which is what we ordered, which is $15 a month. When I started, I think it was like $12 a month.
Okay.
And then 10 to 12 snacks, which is $26 a month, or 18 to 20 snacks at $41 a month if you commit to 12 months. And it gets more expensive if you only commit to like 6 months or 3 months or month to month. And you can buy individual treats in their shop too. So if you just want one treat from a country, I was just looking up Israel since my husband's going to Israel and we're thinking of doing our Christmas focus on that. I was looking at getting some treats so he doesn't have to fill a suitcase up with so many when he goes. But also
he does.
Yeah. But
Marcus, you do.
yeah, he does. I was telling him, let me pack you.
Right.
And then throw away your underwear so we can use the underwear for all the gifts and candy you're going to bring home.
It's so funny.
Not that he's like a large man or anything, but men's underwear tends to be way bigger than the little underwear that I wear that a whole 2 weeks can fit in a Ziploc for us, a little small Ziploc, but for men, it fills up. So that was my suggestion of how to bring home from Israel. Anywho, I could go on to Yums and buy a number of Israeli candies, but so far I think I only saw 1 or 2 on there.
Okay.
Some countries they have a lot more of.
Sure.
A la carte. Probably depends on what extras they have from the different countries.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 reasons it's our favorite. 1, it expands taste preferences in a meaningful way, which is a much needed skill for many little ones. I don't push my kids at dinner time. You know, I don't want every time we have dinner together to be a battle.
No.
And so I usually make them have one healthy thing a day. And then the rest is just like, okay, you can have pasta, you can have chicken nuggets, you can do your mac and cheese, you know. But the yums, it's amazing how it expands their taste. They'll even have things, they'll eat things out of with that has like horseradish. Mm-hmm. But it's a fun experience, so they're willing to try it. So every once in a while, when we were really good about doing our universal yums monthly, I'd be like, pretend it's a universal yum and just try this. It's amazing. And then they would.
Right.
Now we haven't used it for about a year or two, and so they're
out of practice.
Yeah, out of practice. And I'll be like, pretend it's a universal yum, and it doesn't mean as much, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, it expands their taste preferences. Number 2, it takes you on an adventure throughout the world through your taste buds. We love exploring another country, getting to know the globe, and gaining a deep appreciation of other cultures. And it's seriously the most epic thing we do inside our home during our homeschool year.
That's awesome.
And we've tried other subscription boxes, which were amazing, that were, instead of being yum or treats focused, it was more craft focused, which they really enjoyed. But when I asked them what they preferred, even though I found on Amazon, like, you know, snacks from those countries, it wasn't enough. They really liked the yum focus of the universal yums. And then number 3, why it's our favorite, our kids love it. They beg to do this activity, and we've taken a break, and they keep asking, when are you going to sign up again?
Oh, that's awesome.
I know. So it really works for ancient history, you know, even though it's more modern day yums, it
still gets you
could
connected.
add. Yeah. Okay, how we use it. We rate the yums and chart it. So like I said, they have a chart, but we customize the chart. I use black Sharpie and I change it to each of our names. And then we rate each yum, and we award 2 points for a good or a yummy, 1 point for an okay, and 0 points for a yuck.
Okay.
There are 4 of us sharing the 5 to 7 snacks. So I just have a cutting board out, and if it's one piece of hard candy, I try and cut it into fourths. A lot of times when they're tiny candies, they give you 2. So then I cut it into half. Sometimes they give you a full candy bar. So that's an easy one to break into fourths. Sometimes, like one time, was baklava in this special little box. And the baklava was sitting in this little nest that you could eat the nest too. It was just incredible. Crazy. It was beautiful. And so that was hard to kind of split up because who's eating the nest. But, you know, you figure it out. So we record our yum score for each country. And then after about 10 to 12 boxes, we created this bar chart. So I'm going to hold it up. And I framed it because I was in the habit of framing something that represented the year. So this particular year, probably a year and a half or 2 years, it was the yum score. A previous year, my daughter had drawn a picture of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So I had framed that. So I was trying to do one thing that represented each year. And I've only done it twice, but it's really cool to look back on this, and it shows which country they like the best. It looks like Italy got the highest score. And what we had to do is, since not every box had like 7, some had 5, we had to weight the scores and then average them and stuff. And so that was fun for me to figure out.
To remember how to do all that.
Yeah, and the kids witnessed me kind of talking it out and trying to figure it out. And then my oldest was the one who did the math and then created the yum chart. And they were so excited to hear which country won. The worst one was Taiwan. But all the really high ones were Italy, Germany, Russia, the UK. Mm-hmm. And then they didn't like the Netherlands. And sometimes it's just a matter of if it fits their taste buds. It could have been really yummy for me, but then if the kids don't like it,
that's 3 bad votes.
Yeah, that's 3 bad votes. So it's really fun to kind of track that. And then we also use it as a unit study. So number 2, use it as a unit study. We take turns finding each country on the globe. Over time, we play games spinning the globe and trying to find where the countries are that we've traveled to. We also study the flag symbolism, the economy and agriculture, religion and transportation. And then later they pick the facts that they're really excited about. They always had to do the flag, and we talked about the symbolism. And then they could pick from all the facts we talked about and ideas, and then they could draw them. And I'll show you the binder later. But we learned about interesting historical events that changed the country's boundaries or the government, natural disasters. We looked up points of interest on YouTube and watched videos that take us there with other kids as tourists. So there's a lot of videos out there that show kids traveling, and it's like a 3-minute video of them exploring something. Other times, like Colombia, I totally wanted to travel to Colombia after seeing the videos. There's this like really steep mountain that you can walk upstairs, and it's over 650 feet high, and it's an amazing view, and it made me want to go there. Like, I want to go do that.
Yeah.
So these countries have all these wonders that the kids don't know exist.
No.
And so it really exposes them to that. And
That's
us
awesome.
too, you know?
Yeah.
So we also add 2 pages to our binder notebook. So I have it here, and for example, I'm showing my son's Germany one from a couple years ago, and he has Neuschwanstein on there. He has the flag. He has some Deutsch. He has a model train museum that's in Hamburg, I guess, that they're known for. He has some, he wrote Bach, Beethoven, and Wagner, and he has a staff with some music. So maybe I had him play it on the piano. He has their religion in a pie chart. And then he shows East and West Germany and what years the wall was up. And then they always got to pick one of the Yum's wrappers or 2, and they would tape it on. And so and they're in protective sheets. So every new page, so here's Thailand, and for Greece, actually, since we looked at mythology, Poland, we have some money from Poland since I had gone. But for Greece, we did the Greece, and then we read a bunch of myths for the myths they were interested in. And so Micah drew a picture of the god of the seas, Poseidon, and then Zeus. And so these are his pictures of those 2 Greek gods. And so it's just really fun to create this binder. They love flipping through it. And all we would do is fold the paper into quadrants, and it became a routine. So they knew exactly what to do. For Russia, he did the Trans-Siberian Railway, which is the longest railroad in the world. And it was so fun because there were certain YouTubers that we liked to trek, and there was ones that were actually, they were taking this railroad, and then they had like 2 minutes to get off to find food.
Oh, wow.
And they got off, and then he almost missed getting back on. And so it was just fun to see, and they showed what their compartment looked like, and we just sat there watching them ride this Trans-Siberian Railroad. It's so cool.
Yeah.
So just exposing your kids, for them to know that's out there. They probably couldn't tell you most of this now, but it'd be fun to start it back up again and do it again, and then it would start jarring their memory.
Right.
We utilize field trip locations. So, for example, for the Japanese Yum box, we would go to the Japanese Friendship Gardens.
Yeah.
We read cultural fiction from that country's past. I have a reference book that we use for many of the stories and legends from various countries. Or, like I said, if it's Greece, we did some mythology. The cultural craft. If you have a reference book for craft, so for Russia, we did how to draw those Russian dolls. And so it had a stencil, so they did that. And we watched a video of them making the Russian dolls.
Incredible.
And it's incredible. Yeah. And so every country can be different. Some can have field trips, some can have a craft, some can have an art project. And I think if I were to do it again, I would probably pick 1 or 2 things that's special and focus more, do a deeper dive.
Sure.
And so Universal Yums is a day that's a 2 to 4 hour school day. And that is all we do. I prepare the YouTube playlist ahead of time and review the facts and look at our library of reference books first. And then I put tabs and, to get to the important information. Sometimes I would have to check out books from the library when I was still allowed, but now I'm allowed again. So, okay.
You're back in.
I'm back in. Number 3 way that we use it is a trip around the world week. We have done this 2 times. So if you let the boxes pile up, it kind of gets overwhelming. Like, shoot, when are we going to do all these boxes? So you do a trip around the world week. And my kids love spending an entire week where we open a new box each day. It's a little overwhelming. It's kind of a lot. So you might want to take a couple days break, do the week, and then a couple days break.
Right.
And we decorate our dining room with it, atop of the piano with the reference books and stuff. And then I hang up these pendant flags across the entire dining room. It's so long. We used them for a Coop trip around the world.
Very long.
And by like Thursday, I'm like, we got to take these flags down. I can't handle them anymore. But the map we set up, and We chart our course with the yarn as we go, and
So cool.
And then I have us take off and using a YouTube flight video. So it's just really fun as a quick unit study, themed. You have the food, you have the books, and you might have the experiences. So other ways to play. Depending on your child's age or development, you can offer these additional options. Researching and presenting about a topic or interesting practice or tradition that your child is curious about for that country. They can compare and contrast with other countries or cultures they've learned about in the past. You can offer to let your child present the country. So, maybe the spouse helps them look up videos, because you don't want them looking up videos on their own, like of Poland or something. They're going to see a lot of Holocaust. So, even with Rick Steves, like he does a lot on the Holocaust for Poland. So I had to be very careful with what videos I showed for Poland, for example. But if you have another parent that can do that, then they can surprise you and the other kids. They can look at the books ahead of time. So it'd be a really great way for the older kids to take ownership and point out what they find super interesting. And then look up recipe options, make dinner that night, and then teach some, language words. And, the possibilities are endless. So
I love it.
On this link, we have reference books that I use. A Year Full of Stories is the one I was talking about for like folk tales and stories of the past. And then also World Religions, The Sea Inside World Religions. I think it's an Usborne book. It's Lift the Flap. It's really well done. And so they've learned about Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, Christianity, of course. They've learned about all that depending on what country we're studying. And then they create the pie chart, about the different religions and etc. So there you go. That is Universal Yums.
Thanks for listening. We love your support. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast, leave a rating and review to let us know how we're doing, and share our podcast with your friends who need a little community, humility, and joyful fun in homeschooling.